This is BBC One in the South. Now South Today with Sally Taylor.
Hello and welcome to South Today. The women will move out so the men can move in. The acute problems of prison overcrowding are forcing a successful women's unit to close down. Also in tonight's programme, they asked for help and hundreds turned up to be tested as bone marrow donors for the Hartley boys. And why churches in Worthing have bought £5,000 worth of tickets to the controversial film The Passion of the Christ. First tonight, they hoped for maybe 50 or 60 people. In the end, between 500 and 600 turned up. The Hartley family's appeal for donors exceeded all expectations. Well, these were the scenes outside the bookshop in Romsey on Saturday, where potential donors gave blood to see if they're a match for the four boys. Now, you may remember Joshua, Nathan, Daniel and Luke all have a rare and potentially fatal genetic illness, and each needs a bone marrow transplant. As the volunteers crowded in, this was the family's reaction.
It's just been incredible, really. I mean, there's been so many people that I've sort of recognised and just been talking to, and they just, want to wish us all the best. And, lots of them just keep saying, look, really hope that they find matches, even, from today, and they just want to do what they can, really.
Well, the appeal certainly caught the community's imagination of including Romsey Rugby Club. Now, the players there volunteered en masse for testing, even though they had a big game straight afterwards. Our cameras followed them through what some of them found more scary than the match itself.
Romsey, set, crouch, and compress!
But we did point out to them that they probably stand more chance of losing more blood and feeling more pain in their first tackle of the day rather than a little prick down at the bookshop to give a little bit of sample of blood.
Well, it's a good cause. People are suffering. Do what you can to help, huh?
Have you finished in it? Oh, right, I'll go in it.
Obviously, we're really hopeful that Romsey, cream the opposition today, that they're really excited and invigorated, and actually giving this little bit of blood, doesn't kind of take the edge off them today.
We've got a game this afternoon, so we wouldn't have been able to come unless they were able to do this, which has opened up the centre early for us. So it's been very good.
So this is a bit sharp.
One of the chaps went out earlier and he looked a bit white.
Keep me hand on!
I ended up passing out. But that wasn't my fault. That's because the doctor, as he was taking blood, said, I think we've got something wrong here. Can someone come help? And that didn't help the issue much. Little needles scare me quite a lot.
I knew they'd all be wimps. Scared of the sight of their own blood. Someone else's blood, that's a different matter, but your own blood.
Piece of cake. More pain at a dentist.
There's guys down there who've got young kids, and if any of them had it, then we'd all want to put some help in for that. And we just think it's a good cause, great bonding into the club. Hopefully some good will come out of it for the kids.
Our health correspondent David Fenton was also there on Saturday. He's here with me now. Quite a day, clearly.
It was an amazing day, Sally, and we saw people there on those pictures queuing up to give blood to help the Hartley boys. And I think this is one of the characteristics of this story, the huge amount of goodwill that's been generated by this family's plight. I mean, they came up from Bournemouth, they came from Southampton, they came down from Winchester, and of course a lot of people from around Romsey as well. What was interesting was the number of young families that were there, obviously parents that have been touched by the boys' situation, but also a lot of young men there as well, which is what the bone marrow register actually needs.
What happens now?
Well, those samples that we saw being taken are being analysed as we speak in the labs. We should know in the next few weeks if there's going to be a match for the boys or for anyone else. Of course, Alison, the mum, is also waiting to hear if she's a match for her eldest son.
Yeah, and that's a big difference, isn't it?
It's going to make a huge difference. It'll mean that Josh can basically go in and have his bone marrow transplant maybe in the next month or two. Alison's waiting to hear from the hospital, probably maybe in the next day or two, if she's going to be able to do that.
And we'll be following very closely behind.